We are live with Murderbirds Gaming. This is episode 6 of our podcast. We have here live Greg Kissner and Aaron Syler from the new creators of the movies Vikings vs. Zombies, which we will be doing an interview and probably be talking about random shit.
Yes.
So I think we're probably going to want to jump into some questions for you guys. I guess first off, one of the questions we have here: are there going to be any Norse gods in the movie?
Oh, that's a very valid question, actually. I also didn't know we were going to be fielding questions, and that makes me really happy.
Yeah, we kind of didn't want to tell you, so we wanted to just kind of throw them at you and see what you.
No, that's that's awesome. I feel like it feels so much more like legit to me because we haven't really been like asked like real questions.
Greg doesn't know what the word interview means, so.
Yeah, I don't. I'm lost on it. Usually when the interview happens, it's like someone says, "Okay, Greg, start talking," and then I go for like 30 minutes and ramble. I can try to answer the question, and then I guess Aaron can elaborate probably. But there are, and I'm sure most people listening to this podcast are familiar with Skyrim. But the Draugr in Skyrim, the word Draugr is actually a real word, and some people might even know that already too. But zombies in Norse mythology were called Draugr, essentially, but they were also spirits that didn't get carried to Valhalla, so that's where we're going with this, and that's where our zombies come from. And so we do have a flashback, which Lloyd Kaufman is a part of, from Trauma fame and Toxic Avenger and all those glorious movies. And he was kind enough to be in our film. And he tells a story about Valkyrie and the creation of Draugr and things like that. So we don't, in the script right now, have any Norse gods making any appearances, but we do have Valkyrie. And in the original draft of the script, which it still exists in the script, they're very attractive and more than likely topless.
More than likely, it's a big possibility.
Yeah, or they'll at least be scantily clad.
Scantily clad is a definite.
Yeah, that's
I like the hats.
That's a very classy way of saying that they're going to be kind of slutty.
I think you should go with the first option that you mentioned. That sounds awesome.
Well, and actually we do, and in post when we finally get this shot, I mean we do mention Odin, so in the script and during that flashback, and there's a very good chance that we would show Valhalla and what Valhalla looks like, and or at least what we interpret it and what history interprets it to look like, and show Odin. I mean, I would see that being a very good possibility. So.
Yeah. It's worth mentioning that zombie is in the title, obviously, for marketing purposes, but yeah, like Greg was saying, like we've taken this from the mythology, like the Draugr, and in the script, like the word zombie doesn't really exist until the very end, but I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
It's really just like. The title is really just for marketing purposes, but you know it's not. We're going with the mythology on this. Yeah.
The only way I was able to get Aaron involved in this film is to make sure that this was rooted in real mythology. So actually, it's a good thing that person asked that question, and go them. I don't know their name, but go you, because that's a good thing to bring up. Is that Aaron?
I called him crazy. I was like, this, no way. I'm not going to be involved in this.
That was a crazy idea. He's the yin to my yang, so he keeps me grounded. So I was like, Vikings versus zombies, wah! And he was
and
like,
I was like,
unless it's legit. Yeah, that's it.
Well, I mean, that's awesome that you guys are actually following mythology. That's great.
Thank you.
I love mythology, so I mean, that's a big plus.
Well, from the trailer I watched, so they actually zombies, or are they more of dead Vikings Draugr? I mean, because
the way I think I picture them in my head, and that's another very good question. The way I picture them in my head, and that Aaron then put on paper in the script, he described them pretty damn well. Was and this is another shout out to Tommy Peach, who's our makeup effects artist, he was on Face Off. And this is kind of what we've discussed with him. They're going to be essentially bodysuits that are like for, and we're gonna have like rail thin people wearing them. So if you can picture, the Skyrim Draugr, that's pretty much exactly what I want them to look like. So we describe them as basically like these extremely skeletal husks of human beings that are extremely horrifyingly disgusting, and not. I mean, and that's the thing. The trailer we made was basically on no money at all. So we made that with people in your standard zombie makeup that you would do for Halloween.
Teaser.
So
it was a teaser.
Yeah, it was a teaser. It was an investor teaser. Yeah, to try to gain interest.
Which is at this point, which is like that thing that you've seen. That's like 6 years old now at this point.
It's
5 years old.
Oh wow! Oh, I didn't know that teaser.
Yeah, that's
teaser. Yeah.
The teaser was actually that old.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning that in the script, like before they take physical form, whenever they appear, it's kind of like there's this fog mist that like appears just above the ground, and they kind of develop from that, so.
Yeah, they because they were especially in Norse mythology, they were described more as like these spectral-looking beings, but obviously because zombies are a hell of a lot more fun and a lot more interesting
and popular.
And more popular, at least in my mind. I wanted them to kind of look as cool as the ones in Skyrim, or I really like, actually, as far as zombies are concerned. I think it's Return of the Living Dead, the one where it was like the zombie that actually said brains. Well, ours don't talk, but I do like the way that one looked, because it was like super skeleton face and really scary. So that's kind of what I want them to look like. But yeah, that kind of I kind of deviated, I guess, from the.
Question two, go.
Yeah.
Well, I actually had a question myself. Is this taking place like during Ragnarok or?
Wow. Okay.
Let me just say that without spoiling anything, the end of the movie
mentions it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The end of the film, Ragnarok, is mentioned. Actually, not in the last scene, but the scene prior, and it's good you brought that up. But it does technically take place during Ragnarok. It is essentially, the way we do it is these Draugr, almost, again, I keep bringing up Skyrim, but it's basically they're shipwrecked after getting into a gigantic battle and basically raiding another Viking clan, and they touch essentially cursed treasure, and the Draugr get pissed, and they appear, and they basically make their life, or at least the rest of their lives, a living hell. Ragnarok is mentioned, and it actually, I will say this, if we're lucky enough to make this movie, Ragnarok also kind of is a segue into the sequel, Vikings vs. Zombies 2.
That's
we do
correct.
have a sequel planned. Yeah.
The sequel is already in the writing at this point.
Yeah.
On the train station? On the train station?
And the sequel is like present day.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So-
we're not going to spoil anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a bunch of questions now, so about that one.
How hard is it to make a movie?
What's that?
How hard is it to probably like produce and write a story and make a movie and stuff?
Oh, good lord.
Well, let me say this. Our first feature was done for $7,000, and it was self-funded, self-shot, self-cut, and besides us, there's like 5 college buddies, us included, and then probably 30 other people that are actually in the movie, and we could do that, no problem, and this is a whole different ballgame, what we're stepping into now, which, I mean, that's exactly why we need this money. We've thought it through, and we need a professional studio with lighting, and we got to pay our actors and
We're going to
provide.
shoot in the bathroom, but
We're going to shoot in the bathroom.
yeah,
But no, I mean that's exactly why we're doing this fundraiser, because to be at the production value that we want it to be at now and not be a joke.
Yeah.
We have to have at least this much money. So we're asking for 60,000 right now to get started and at least get the first act taken care of.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, especially as far as like Indiegogo and Kickstarter campaigns for feature films, it's a pretty low number, I would think, compared to other, especially what other feature films are made for. But I think really to answer your question and go off of what Aaron was saying, like making a movie, and maybe I'm biased, but I think making a movie or making a film, or even making a music video or like a short film, is essentially the hardest, I think, art form to have to try to pull off. And it's not because it's, well, I guess sometimes it's physically demanding, especially, if you're an actor. But I think from a producer standpoint or a director standpoint or a writing standpoint, you're relying on a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it's like, and that's, I'm really happy you asked that question, because I think it's something that needs to be said, is that, like, film is extremely difficult to do. And it's also kind of why I think filmmaking, for me at least, has become more of a hobby and something that I've decided, like, nope, this is what I do for fun. Like, it's not going to be something where I make a living out of it. It's just something I want to do, and Vikings vs. Zombies is something that I want to do for fun. It's something that I want to do for fun and to share the fun with everybody and with Aaron and, and have fun with my friends making it, because it's like, if I did it as a career, I'd probably go bananas, and I think that's why it happens to a lot of celebrities. Because it's like you have to rely on, like, your actors, everyone from your actors, your grips, your gaffers, your guys, your catering people, your lighting. It's ridiculous, and
it's become very clear how in college you could do all of the roles, and it wasn't that big of a problem. But now we've moved into the realm of a director is a director. The producer's the producer, like the cameraman's the cameraman. You can't. We're at the point now where you can't do everything. It's just too physically demanding and too mentally demanding, and you'll go nuts. So, again, that's like
Aaron just showed off his fashionable hat. We don't have Murder Beard T-shirts yet.
Yeah.
Well, then we need to purchase some Viking vs. Zombies. It's not going to say co-director on it, but
yeah,
Zombies hat. We're not. Yeah.
Anyway. We do, and I actually know a T-shirt company, so I gotta start working on that.
Yeah.
So
if there are people out there that are already requesting them, we gotta make it happen.
Yeah.
I'll say, do you guys sell the hats?
Sell them?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could.
I was just wondering because I'd buy one.
I would.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could hook you up. We can make that happen. we can absolutely make that happen. But I think it would say Vikings versus Zombie, like
fan
supporter or something.
If I was a supporter, I mean, that's cool with me. It doesn't really have to say anything on the bottom. It could just be like Vikings versus Zombies.
Yeah. But I think Vikings versus Zombies.
Green or black?
Yeah.
Green or black?
Can it be both?
Can it be both? Oh, okay.
Can it be like black hat with like the green?
That'd be sweet.
Just black hat with your guys' logo. I really like your Vikings vs. Zombie. Just
thank you very much.
Right there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah. I think that if we make them, we'll not only hook you up, but I think we're gonna have to hook ourselves up because I want to wear one.
Who developed the logo? I was actually curious on that one.
I think it was you, Greg.
I was gonna say I've been. Some people have criticized me that they think that it looks a little bit like Plants vs. Zombies because of the zombies font, but I don't really care because it still looks cool, and that's zombie font. I mean, that's the font people relate to zombies with. Yeah. But no, I developed the logo. I think it was like one of the first things that I did. I think a lot of people do that, like bands do that. Like, let's be a band, and then they make a logo. It's like,
well, yeah, that's what sets the whole like tone.
Yeah.
If you like go like balls deep into like a logo, then it becomes like so legitimate because that's your fucking logo, and it's just like that's the feeling of the movie. It's part of the creativeness of the whole art form of like the movie or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always a fan of going with the organic process.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What do you mean by that?
Like, okay, so let's say you have your actor and we've got the take already. but he's like, let me do it one more time in a different way. And you just let him go with it, and it ends up turning out better than what you'd hoped. Like, that to me is the organic process. Like, yeah.
So more of a natural kind of way, kind of.
And also, what he means is we actually like to use organic human beings as our actors too.
Well, that's
and no synthetic human beings.
No, actually, all this fundraising is going to like this new robot that I've developed. And
Yeah.
A ton of times.
We're taking a level up on Avatar right now.
Yeah. We just graph different faces on it, and we have a whole cast.
Did anybody have any other questions? I mean, off the top of their head, because I can go on to the next one.
Shoot.
Yeah, I was gonna say if there's legitimate questions, I hate bogarting everybody's time.
I have a question. I guess this was kind of already answered by the "Are there going to be any Norse gods?" question, but mine is kind of similar to that. Is there going to be any historical references to any real-life Vikings that like actually existed in history, or any stories in mythology? You know, like an actual Viking from a story. Are you going to use any inspirations from any of those?
No.
Now that you say that, it's no. But the quick answer is
It's all creative. It's all creative.
Right. It is. Yeah. I almost kind of actually, after you say that, I almost wish that we did, because I am kind of a nerd for Viking mythology. But
well, that's still cool. It was just a curiosity.
I mean, I will say this. There is only one instance where there is a horned helmet, because that was something we wanted to be very adamant about. And actually, a lot of people, that are kind of Viking nerds like us, they're like, oh, well, they got to be accurate and look accurate, and so they do. They have normal helmets, at least the ones that do wear helmets, and they wear the right garb and everything. But there's only one instance of horned helmet. And it's for a ceremony. I'm not, again, no spoilers, but it's used in a very badass, awesome way.
So you gotta have the horn helmet in there. I mean, it's such an iconic depiction of like a Viking.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, we were actually kind of hoping you would walk in with like a Viking outfit. I mean.
Yeah, I should have. I have the sword. This and while the shield I'll bust out later when things get a little crazy. I have to guard myself. But this sword and like the shield was essentially like all we have to make our movie with right now. And a helmet and like a tunic. I think we have like basically one costume to work with right now.
So everybody just kind of switches it up, like, oh, it's your turn.
No.
Yeah.
We shot some stuff like a year ago in Connecticut.
Yeah.
That's part of the Indiegogo video, and so we had to dress, like 6 or 7 people for that.
Yes,
but
we have a small group of different kinds of costumes, but we definitely need more. So.
I guess one of the other random questions that somebody wanted to know is, in your opinion, does a Viking ever die?
Oh shit.
Ooh. Does a Viking ever die?
I mean, I guess the even better question is, how hard is it to kill a Viking?
I guess. I mean, you can answer both if you like.
Well, let me say this: every Viking that physically dies in our script, they live on in Valhalla. God damn it.
Well, and actually, it's a nice thought for Aaron to say that, but it's not true at all. There are some that go, I think, but some of them, as you would expect from a movie called Vikings versus Zombies, they make reappearances. So after they pass a very untimely and gory death.
Are you speaking of what happens towards the end of the script?
No.
Okay.
No.
Right.
No, I mean, but I will say all the Vikings that are in our script, I'm not going to say, obviously, how many of them survive or how many don't, but the ones that, do die, they all deserve a spot in Valhalla.
Yes.
That's
what I was getting at, yeah.
I'm a gigantic Viking fan, obviously, to be doing a movie like this, and Aaron is, and I'm a huge Thor nerd too from the comics. I'm a giant Marvel obsessee, but I would say essentially, if you really believe in Norse mythology, and I can't really say that that's my religion essentially, but I would say in Viking here we go. Yes.
It's not fitting over my headphones.
Oh, that is awesome. Yes.
Nice try.
That is beautiful.
Okay, we can go on.
Yeah, that's you're like, and go on.
Is that a Transformer mask?
No, it's a Thor.
Hell no.
Oh, I see it. Okay, gotcha.
That is the helm only worthy of the Odin son.
Exactly. I don't have the hammer, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have. This is really bad because I have one that's like that. It's the full head one, and I have the wig and the hammer in the trunk of my car.
I said we bought this at like a Rite Aid or something. I don't know, for like $10. It was a drinking mask. I don't know.
Went to the closest Rite Aid, saw it there. Just got it for $10.
Yeah. I would. It's cool to drink in this.
Yeah.
I'm a motherfucking Viking god.
Yeah, you're supposed to drink wearing that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess the short answer to the question is, I would say if you believe in Norse mythology, then I don't think they die. I think that, basically if they die, they're basically living, and it's it's in any religion really, I guess, Christian or otherwise. You go to heaven, live a better life. That's kind of what the Vikings get to do. They get to eat, drink, and be merry and kill a bunch of shit. That's. So I guess they don't really die.
No, I guess. In that sense, it's more of a spiritual kind of way to think about it, in a sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they do die because in order to go to the afterlife, you had to have died.
Well, that's true. Touche.
Physically.
Well, yeah, physically die. Yes,
Yeah.
physically.
It depends on. I don't know whose question that was, but I don't know if they meant it that deeply or maybe they did. I don't know.
I don't know. Somebody just told me to ask him, and I was like, okay.
That's very deep.
It can be.
Perhaps they forgot the name of our film was called Vikings versus Zombies.
Yeah.
I would hope that at least some Vikings die in the movie. Not that I want them to die.
Right.
I would expect a movie like that to have some Vikings dying in it.
There's an enormous amount of death in this movie on both sides.
That's what I was gonna ask about, because they're set to just be straight melee. They're Vikings, they're built for war.
Oh, yeah.
They do. How many zombies are they actually slaying? Are they just taking them down by the bushel?
Well, I think
There are scenes where there is certainly bushels of zombies being taken out. Yes.
Because they're just perfect for it. You got the medieval type setting, where they have armor. What they're used to is just fighting all day with their hands and their axes and swords.
Yeah,
hell yeah, rip shit up,
Yeah. That's I think what I'm most excited for about making this is just shooting all of the bashing and smashing and smushing and exploding. There's exploding heads, there's dismemberment, there's decapitation, there's everything you would want from a zombie movie, but I think times 10 because of the fact that they're melee kind of guys. Because, it's you can shoot zombies, and that's the thing, so many zombie movies, and that's what sets us apart, is not only is there actually a completely different kind of story, and it's not just people versus zombies, but, this is no guns. So it's how are they going to handle themselves? There's not just headshot, headshot, headshot. It's I have a sword, or I have an axe, or I have a shield that I can bash them with, or I have my hands, I'm going to headbutt through their head and it'll explode. You have those kinds of things, and I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, but look forward to headbutts where their heads explode. I'm just going to say.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I totally am excited for that.
Yeah.
Are the Vikings super strong?
Yes.
There's the two main characters. The two lead characters are very buff. They're not superhuman or anything, but they're just very, very badass guys.
They're not. Yeah, they don't have superhuman strength, but they definitely have Viking strength. And one of them, his name is Skarn, played by Michael Foster, who's fantastic and huge. He's been in quite a few things, and like Disney's Kicking It and a few other things, and he basically is the largest human being I've ever seen that has been, especially the largest, I'm just glad that we could get him in our movie because of the way he looks. But he's also a good actor, too, which is kind of a bonus on top of that. But he actually has come up with a lot of really awesome, he himself, which I like that the actors are as excited about it as we are. But, like, he's come up with zombie kills where he's like, could I maybe do this? And we're like, hell yeah! Like, what? Like, why wouldn't we want you to do that? Like, it's stuff like that where, he and there's just, like, so much conceptualization that has happened, that I would never have even expected. And I'm like, it's just, we're
It's pretty cool. His enthusiasm is inspiring.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Years back, he took a picture next to Sylvester Stallone, and just to give you some idea, like, Sylvester looks tiny next to him. Like,
Sylvester Stallone, I've heard, is short, but Michael Foster's also extremely tall, so he makes Sylvester Stallone look like a baby.
That's impressive.
Yeah. And he actually, I will say this, I guess the reason I bring up Scarn the most with the superhuman thing, or at least the crazy feats of strength, he does bust through a wall during part of the film. So that's how he enters a room.
That is amazing. That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
This question is for Mitch specifically. He told me to ask this. Do you guys like cats?
Do we like cats?
Yes. Do you guys like cats?
I have two cats.
Who's asking this?
One of our viewers, members.
Excellent. Well, I like cats a lot, Mitch. I don't own a cat, unfortunately. I've had many different cats. Unfortunately, they've passed away. But I like big, really, really big cats because I think they're hysterical.
Fat cats are funny.
Yeah, I have a pug, and a pug is essentially the cat of the dog world, I think, where it kind of just sits there all day. So Aaron has a cat.
I have two cats that I inherited through my fiance, and one of which is a big orange tabby. He's like 22 pounds, and he's an idiot.
Big one.
He's also he's a gay prince. He is a gay cat.
What?
Hands down.
What?
Like if he was human, we've confirmed that he would be a homosexual.
Yeah. He likes other boy cats.
Oh, does he like dominate them?
Oh no. He's just he poses.
That was an interesting question to ask, Cody.
I'm sorry. I mean,
yes, it was.
While wearing the Thor helmet, it's fantastic. Does
he dominate him?
Yeah, does he dominate him?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It just came to mind. So okay, so he just like looks at other cats.
No. He poses, and the way he talks, he vocalizes. Just he's gay. He's a gay.
You are just so gay.
I can't describe it. You just have to see it. You would agree. Trust me.
To be fair, I mean, it's not like that's a bad thing at all. I mean, it's just part of his personality. That's who he is.
It's a gay cat. That's cool. I was just curious of what depicts him as a gay cat.
Yeah.
It's not often you hear about a gay cat. I mean, it's
They were
a gay
just born
cat.
that
It's
way.
weird. Huh?
I said they were just born that way.
They were.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, some cats.
Actually, the song "Same Love" was written about Aaron's cat.
Oh.
Yeah, shout out to Macklemore. I mean, shit. That I don't know if you guys have listened to that album, but it's shoot. I just recently drove down to Texas, and I must have played that thing like 5 times a day. But anyway.
About the gay cat. Yeah. Do you think about the gay cat when you hear that song? I mean, you're just like, oh man, I can't wait to go home and pet my gay cat.
Man, Mitch is gonna get so much information out of this.
Right? Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I hope we answered your question, Mitch.
Yeah.
I think
I don't think we have. Let's discuss it like for another 10 minutes.
Sounds good to me.
I think the question has been more than answered.
Yes. Yeah.
I have a new question, actually. Will there be any Warhammers in this film?
Yes, actually, there will be. I believe. Well, we're kind of split right now. At least I am. I don't know if this is something I've even discussed with her yet. We do have a female Viking who is part of the war band who is super sexy, and obviously, and any female Viking is sexy. Even the really big ones that sing opera.
Named Helga.
That is a cliche that is not in the movie.
It is not.
Oh.
Yeah, we don't have big lady Vikings. We don't have that. But we do have her with a Dane axe, is what they're called, which is usually the two-handed axe. But I was also kind of thinking it'd be sweet if there was this really hot Viking chick swinging a hammer around and bashing heads. That. So I will say this: in D&D, the campaign that I played, it's actually over now. But I did have a Mordenkrad. So I have a deep love for giant warhammers that smash. So.
I am guilty of the love for the hammer as well. The bigger the hammer, the better.
Yeah, well, actually, you know that from when we played Guild Wars.
Exactly. I mean, if the ground shakes when you hit the ground, I mean, that's just fantastic.
Yes.
It's hammers, man. I mean,
it's a great weapon.
Yeah, I mean, it just shit falls beneath the weight of this massive fucking brick of metal. It's just dead.
Actually, what I should do, I want to give a shout out to my cousin, who is he was the vocalist of a very good, and they still exist. He moved to California, so he's not in the band anymore. But fantastic band, and my cousin is fantastic, but their music video, it's a band called Hammer Horde. And their music actually kind of inspired this movie because Viking metal is amazing and also kind of going to be our entire soundtrack. But in their music video, a Warhammer does smash a skull, and it's a really good video. It's in the name of Winter's Wrath. If you guys look it up on YouTube,
it's a really good song.
It's a good song,
and it's a good video, and they're a kick-ass band. So yeah, check out Hammer Horde.
Yeah.
I guess my question is with that. Since you guys are going to have all this Viking metal music, I mean, do you guys have rights to all these music? And if so, I mean, can people buy soundtracks?
Not yet, but we'll.
Not yet. Yeah, that's the big hope for this film is we're also going to try to have bands create music specifically for the movie, and obviously want it to be metal because it's metal. So. And it's Vikings versus Zombies, and I can't think of anything really more metal than that, except for Dio himself. But I would say, there's one specific song that we want to get the rights to. If we don't get the rights to any other music, we can have all the original music, but we want one song, and it's Dragon Heads by Ensiferum.
Which is actually in the teaser trailer.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's and you can see that in the Indiegogo video, the trailer, and you can also see the trailer on YouTube. So, but that song is amazing. I love it.
Yeah, but to answer your question, it is a bridge that we have not crossed yet, but we will certainly work on achieving that goal. Yes.
Yeah, well, I think I mean, if we can make a soundtrack to sell, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, I mean, not even just from a financial standpoint. Yay, we're making money on soundtracks. Like, it would just be cool to have a whole soundtrack of
a soundtrack of a bunch of different kick-ass metal bands that all contribute. I recently went to a Gojira concert. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. I hadn't even heard from them. They opened for Mastodon here in Chicago back in May, and in my opinion, they were better than Mastodon. But they're a French metal band, and I just can't say enough good things about them. Like, Gojira, check them out. They fucking kick ass.
So, I mean, a lot of the music that you guys are going to be doing for this movie, is it going to be music that you guys just pull from places that you guys really feel like it fits the movie, or is it going to be people that like artists that you know that like produce music?
Well, I
or,
think
you know,
it'll be a
relatives?
mixture of both, really. I think it'll have more to do with the money. I mean, because it's funny in Hollywood, even in the big budget movies, most of the money, besides the actors, because actors are very highly paid, especially the really famous ones. But most of the money actually goes to the soundtracks these days, and so I think we'll probably have a couple that we buy, but I think it'd be really awesome to get a band to make original music. And actually, shout out to Jesse Morgan if he's watching or watches this, but our good buddy who lives out in Wyoming, he's not a metal artist, but he does make a lot of soundtrack music and has done a lot of music for our films in the past. But that's usually what we go for, is to get a little taste of some original music. And I think there'll be moments in the film where it's not like metal driven. Obviously, like every movie, you need some mood music, but especially in the mood parts to set the mood.
But there are scenes like that, by the way.
Yeah.
So there's scenes that are going to give you the feels, like it makes you sad or makes you happy or makes you like, oh yeah, kick ass.
Well, there's going to be sad, happy moments, but mostly there are sad and happy moments, but mostly like sexy moments and like
this is not going to be like
epic murder moments.
There's not going to be like necrophilia.
No.
I had to ask. The Viking and zombie movie.
Oh my god!
I'm just saying it's a legitimate question.
No, it's a fair question. We can take the necrophilia question off the table because it's good. It's good that you brought it up because now we know that it's not in it, and people will be able to watch the movie unless they're into that. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Yeah, maybe next time.
They can go to the darker side of the internet if they want to see that.
Yeah, out there.
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
Is there gonna be any like comedy in it, like kind of like?
Oh,
a
absolutely.
Funny... Oh God, yeah.
Absolutely. I would say that.
Oh yes.
Loads of it.
What do you think about the movie Princess Bride?
It's amazing.
Well, there you go.
Right? It's
Yes.
a classic, and there's some brilliant, subtle comedy in that, and that was a big inspiration for a lot of what's in the script.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I would Princess, that's what we try to use in our pitch, which I actually think it's probably if I would have if this was like 10 years ago, I never would have thought I would be saying this, that I'd be making a movie or wanting to make a movie like this, but I absolutely do because it's I guess I consider myself lucky that we even have a screenplay that's like this. But we always say that it's Princess Bride meets Army of Darkness. And
wow.
Yeah.
Right.
That sounds amazing. I'm sold. I'm sold.
Yeah, that's great.
When that comes out, I'm buying it. I'm excited.
That's good. Well, that's what I'm saying. I would like to think those are two of my all-time favorite movies. I think those are pretty beloved movies. So I would think if you like either of those movies or you like both of them, then you'll absolutely adore this movie because we have that kind of the characters, I think, and again, I'm probably biased, but the characters in it are just really lovable characters. And I think the actors that we have playing them are lovable actors and funny. And I won't, he's not confirmed yet, so I don't want to say it or announce it, but we have a comedian who's playing one of my favorite roles, whose name in the movie is just called The Alchemist. And he's basically this second-rate sorcerer. Essentially, he does magic, but it's all based on alchemy. And he's super funny. The character is, I think, can probably be a fan favorite. But we have a comedian that's extremely talented that is hoping to clear his schedule to be in the film, who actually is, right now, it's either that or a pilot on Comedy Central. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But
he's a really talented guy. I've spent not nearly as much time with him as Greg has, but let me just say that the week that I was around him nonstop, I was just laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
So I can't if he does
we'll be lucky.
this with us, it'll be incredible.
Yeah, it'll basically, in my opinion, yeah, well, that will tie everything together, and we'll be good to go. So, but that's the thing. I feel like, and we're huge fans of Sam Raimi movies, and so like the Evil Dead and Army of Darkness aspect of the film, obviously it comes from the zombie side of it and the gore and everything, but it also kind of comes from like the style that we're going for, where it's not just like B movie like camp, it's also like the outrageous like slapstick horror, where it's like, we don't have like the eye pokes and everything that, because he was, Sam and his brothers and everything, and Bruce Campbell even were all influenced by the Marx Brothers, and that's not really, how goofy it gets, but we have that kind of like tongue-in-cheek camp to it that is, really specific to, the Evil Dead movies and
charm. We've got a charm that I would say.
Yeah,
I would say a charm.
Which kind of makes me feel like I'm kissing my own ass and Aaron's ass by saying that our movie is charming, but I think it's charming. So any good salesman, I think, would probably say good shit about their product. So
Right?
Yeah, I mean,
I'll pretend to be a good salesman for a second.
you have to sell your own movie. I mean, it's part of it.
Yeah.
Part of your
What else
hobby.
you got, Cody?
I was gonna say, well, we kind of already answered the where did you guys kind of get the idea / inspiration in the movie? It's, I mean, it seems to be the essential. You guys kind of took parts, well, not parts, but the essential feeling of Princess Bride's comedy, subtle comedy, and Army of Darkness kind of meshed into this ridiculous hammer slamming, zombie slaying Viking movie. So I mean, that's pretty much the essential of that. You guys kind of answered that question. I guess the next question I would kind of ask is, do you guys have like a favorite movie that you guys kind of?
Oh wow.
Due to the recent events, and oddly enough, I couldn't believe that this happened on the day that we started the campaign. But I'm just gonna throw out Good Will Hunting because it is a big inspiration to both Greg and I.
Is there a reason why?
Well, we love the movie first off, but we always just like the idea of this is kind of gay, but we, like it was pretty inspiring that like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, they created themselves at such an early age together, and I always just imagine that Greg and I would write something and do something similar, but
and I can vouch for that. I mean, I think that it's true and it's cliche and it's probably like almost like right in your face when it's like why we like Good Will Hunting. It's like two guys making their own movie, and we're not starring in it, obviously. I mean, our first feature film, it's actually kind of funny because we were the two main characters.
yeah.
But it's like it was kind of an inspiration for us, I guess, as like young filmmakers. And there's a lot of speculation, which I hate hearing, but there is a lot of speculation that they did kind of write the script, but it was like someone else's idea or whatever. I hate that. But what I really like about it is that it has so much heart and soul, and it's like just like it's in my opinion, a modern classic. And I guess, and what Aaron was talking about is, Robin Williams, at least the announcement of him passing away was the day that we launched the Indiegogo, and, we were obviously punched in the gut. I think the whole world was. But it's like his moment and his monologue, which is obviously extremely famous from that movie, Aaron and I have always, like, held to a very high regard, even just as, like, a way of life. So, I mean, it's like, it's funny, a podcast talking about Vikings versus zombies, it's funny because we're talking about this, but and I brought it up actually in another interview. But it's true. Like guys like him, like Robin Williams, inspired and continues, and he'll continue to inspire for years to come young artists of all kinds. So.
Yep.
So,
so I think that was a long answer to your question. If we have a favorite movie between the two of us that we both like, I'd say Good Will Hunting is a big favorite. But like as far as like in the canon of Vikings versus zombies, it's definitely the Evil Dead movies. I mean, Sam Raimi. It's the same story with him. I mean, he built that from the ground up, and him and his brothers, and raised all their own money the same way we are. Made an awesome movie that people love, and it's just, it's. I think that's kind of like another favorite, at least for me.
And everything that the Coen brothers have done.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So then, what would you probably say would be probably your favorite process, or think about this whole movie that you guys done? I mean, is it, just what?
You mean the first movie that we did?
No, this one.
Oh, okay.
Since you guys kind of moved into this new way of doing things, I mean, what would probably be your favorite thing about it? I mean, would it be your accomplishments, or just getting it done, or what would meeting new people? What would be probably your favorite thing about this?
Well, I'll let Aaron go on this one. I mean, I think I know my answer, but I'll let Aaron go.
All right. So my favorite part about the whole process is, all right. So you've got everything set. You've got everything written. Everyone's where they need to be. They're in their places. Time is not an issue, and everyone's relaxed and having a good time, and you start running through some takes, and the actors are getting into it, and then you just nail a take, and everyone just knows it. I look at Greg and we're like, that's it, that's the one. We know that's gonna work. We can move on, that. That's the most fun for me.
So the
it's
feeling
really
of
funny,
success.
I already know how it's going to edit together with something else because of the way the actor did it, and I just know that it's going to work. That's my favorite moment.
I actually probably could have predicted that Aaron was going to say that. I think that's probably why we work so well together, is that I honestly know, what he expects and what makes the process easier for him and more enjoyable. Because I think as any good partnership, you kind of have to, catch those vibes. We've been friends for even longer than we've been making movies together. But when we're on set, there's an old story, and I bring this up a lot when it comes to Aaron and I, talking about Aaron and I's partnership. But where George Lucas and Coppola were actually described, because they worked a lot together. I am not comparing myself to George Lucas and Francis Ford Coppola. We're not that good.
I'm glad you made that clarification.
Yeah. But we are definitely not. Well, I can't even really say George Lucas is that good, but still, at least anymore. We won't get into that. No. But Coppola and Lucas were described as George Lucas was a pyramid. He would build pyramids from the bottom to the top, and Coppola would build them from the top to the bottom. So it was George Lucas was very he would go from the fundamentals and make sure everything was in place, and Coppola would come up with these ridiculous ideas that were good ideas, but he would never have an idea of how he was actually going to pull it off, and it was that'll come when we're actually doing it. And I hate to admit that I'm the Coppola in this situation, where I get excited and I'm like, yeah, here's this sweet idea where we could have, I guess we'll use Vikings versus Zombies as an example, but we could have this whole scene where there's this room full of people on a table, and they're all sitting around the table, and they're eating and drinking and celebrating and having this crazy scene. And Aaron's like, well, how the hell are we going to pull that off if there's people on all sides of the table? And it's getting the, having to, he thinks of the technical aspect of having to green screen the whole room, so we don't have to, move the camera every freaking time or move the table. He's thinking about everything, and he's thinking about the logistics. So I would say that's actually kind of, I guess, a segue into my favorite part about it is, I do like seeing Aaron get excited about, everything getting pulled off, because that is a huge reward, I think, for a filmmaker or any artist or anybody who does, any sort of task, is it feels damn good when you made something actually work. Especially something as crazy as this shit.
Yep.
But I think, you know, in a short answer of my own, my favorite part of the process, besides just being on set and it all working and feeling great about getting to do my art form, you know, and getting to do what I love the most, I think, honestly, the greatest moment I've ever had or reward was when we finished and showed our film, our first feature film, On the Lam. That premiere, I mean, to be honest, we broke down. I mean, we were crying and everything because we were just so happy that it was like, we did it. You know, that's the best moment. Yeah. And that's also kind of, I think, in a sick way with like this like crowdfunding thing, that, because this is the first time we've ever done this. Like, in a sick way, it's almost like I'm happy that we're, you know, getting out there in a different way. You know, like the only way people used to see our movies were because we were annoying as hell about them. You know, and it's nice, you know, seeing people get excited about it, and it's nice seeing how people react to things that you do, because you feel like you've actually kind of like helped someone, you know, enjoy themselves a little bit. You know, like, you know, you've entertained, and, you know, it's something that you worked really hard on, someone actually gained something from. So I'm not saying we're doing any sort of fucking stupid bullshit public service by making a feature horror movie, but I mean, I know that this is a movie that I would want to watch because it's two things I love, and Vikings versus zombies. I mean, those two things I adore, and, you know, everything in between that makes the movie. It's something I would want to see, and that's how we wrote it and created it. So I think that that's my favorite thing about this, is that, like, I know that we're gonna, if we get it done, hopefully with the help of the Indiegogo, we'll get to have that moment again. It's like it's like the high, you know. Yes. It's like you're chasing after it, and then, you know, you get to have the premiere, or you get to, you know, hear someone's reaction to the DVD because they rented it or something, or you see a review. It's like, you know, even if it's a bad one, there's always even in a bad review, there's someone saying, you know, but, you know, the cinematography was actually really impressive. You know, getting to hear that, even if they're like, yeah, well, the acting was bullshit and the blah blah blah. That's my favorite thing, is just getting to have it all done and getting a satisfaction from myself and like from other people.
And you can look back at it too, like when you're old, like say you're older or something, you could be like, yo, yeah, I made a movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I mean, I will say, like, looking back on our past work, you know, a lot of the times, I think I look at something a few years later and I'm not as satisfied with it, but there are projects that we have done that I surprise myself. Like, I've kind of gotten away from it, and then I come back and watch it, and I was like, wow, you know, we can do this. Like, we have the talent and the skills to do this. We just need the money.
It sounds sounds like it's all going to come together great.
And I a little bit of a follow-up to what Greg was saying. Like, I will say, I am the biggest critic you'll ever meet.
It's true.
And Vikings and zombies are two things that, like, I'm not nearly the nerd that you guys all are. And
listen, you guys are, yeah. What Aaron means is he hates all of you.
No. But, like, this is not something that I would pick up off the shelf. Okay, and shelves don't really exist anymore. But, like, I shouldn't say me. We have created a script that hopefully has a little bit of something for everybody, even though it has the horror genre and with the title just a boom of a stereotype written all over it, you know. But, like, I sincerely believe that anybody who wants to criticize what we're doing and thinks that it's not going to work, I've been there. I had that thought already, okay? Yeah, and to them I say, just read the script. Honestly. If you don't love it, don't give us money.
Aaron did not always have co-director written on his hat. He was I had to sell him on the concept, and it was a tough sell. But and I mean, what he actually meant was he wishes he was as big as a nerd as all of us. But he, I mean, I will say it's not necessarily his genre, but he still had an appreciation for it enough. But he was like, okay, well, I want to know what really is the big sell of this. And to be honest with you, the big sell for Aaron and what he ended up then making the script out of was Norse mythology itself. The fact that like everything that we have put into the film, it didn't necessarily happen, but it was something that the culture did believe in back hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So it's I think that's how I was able to rope him in onto this craziness and get him to wear a co-director hat. Was that, oh wait, no, there is Norse mythology, so what do you think about that? And then he actually got jazzed up about that and then wrote a bang up, really badass script. So
that's awesome. That is awesome.
Definitely.
I had a question for both of you since we are Murderbeards Gaming.
Yes.
What was your favorite game? Like your first favorite game that you just couldn't get enough of?
Oh boy.
Wolfenstein 3D.
Wolfenstein 3D?
Yes.
Yep.
And it's also funny that's how long we've been friends and how close. It's really bad, but it's like I don't remember what movie it's where it's like, I know your body. I think it's Dude, Where's My Car? But I could have actually guessed Aaron's favorite game. I was actually going to say this will, I guess, be a funny thing. I'm not going to turn the question around, but I could say Aaron's favorite games are Wolfenstein 3D, X-Wing, the original X-Wing for the computer.
Yes. Yep.
And then also TIE Fighter. Every single Doom game that's ever been made. And he also likes the Forza games a lot.
And Call of Duty.
And Call of Duty. Yeah, he's a Call of Duty player, yeah.
And Gears of War.
And Gears of War, yeah. And Gears of War.
Ever tried Diablo?
Nope.
Yeah, I need to get him into Diablo. Yeah.
Oh, so we got one of you at Diablo.
Yeah, I am very hardcore role player. I mean, I would say the first game that I loved though is really, really, really hard to pick. I mean, the first one that I ever played, and this is extremely cliche and probably a very popular answer, was actually Mario, the very original Super Mario.
But I mean, it was all over the place too, so.
Right, yeah. But it blew my fucking mind because it was the first video game I ever saw, and like we were lucky enough to even get a Nintendo because my aunt moved and didn't want it, so like she gave it to my mom, and I was like, what? Like what? Like she just gave it to us, and so we like plugged it in, and I was like, oh my god, when that do like when it started, I was just like, my mind was blown.
Just
but I can't really. Yeah, it was just.
How about that?
A Viking grabbed my head and headbutted it and exploded. But I can't really say that it was like the first that I like loved. Because like I didn't like as far as like a game that you actually, because people actually love video games, and I am one of those people. I would say the first one that I actually loved was Dark Forces. Actually, I think that was like the first one where I actually got
the follow up to Jedi Knight.
No, no. The before.
Oh, it was one before. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Dark Forces, and then Dark Forces 2 was Jedi Knight. And then Jedi Outcast and all those. But the original Dark Forces, because I think what it was I really liked the Wolfenstein games and Doom and everything, because it was like, ooh, like this first-person thing, this is like a whole new concept, this is crazy. But then I was already in love with Star Wars. When you added on top of that, I was like, ah! And getting to actually shoot stormtroopers for the first time and everything, it was just like, it was awesome. So I think Dark Forces was probably,
How about you guys? Answer this. What was the first game that you ever played, either via LAN or over the internet?
LAN or over the? I guess
I got Age of Empires 2 most likely.
Nice.
Either
Nice.
Age of Empires 2 or StarCraft. I don't remember which one, but they were close.
Yeah, I'd have to say the first StarCraft for me.
Well, I'll say the first LAN game I ever played was Halo. But the first game that I actually ever fell in love with was Elder Scrolls 3 or Morrowind. That was
hell yeah, dude. Oh my god.
That was like my fucking game. clocked hours.
Yeah.
Wasted away days, right?
Well, I had no life as a kid. Well, obviously, but I mean, it was. I mean, I love RPGs and I love the Elder Scrolls series. So.
Well, I think actually, I mean, like as far as the Elder Scrolls series goes, I mean, they're all amazing. But when Morrowind came out, it was like
there was no games really out like that.
Yeah, it was nuts. Like I remember sitting down again. My cousin Tom, who's in the Viking, was in the Viking metal band, still Viking metal vocalist and badass. I remember sitting and playing with him, playing Morrowind again, hours and hours and hours, where it was almost like he'd watch his character, and he'd watch me. Like that's how much we loved that dang game. And it was ridiculous how you could walk in. It was like this new concept where it's like you could walk into a room and steal everything. It was like, and we were amazed the fact that you like, and it's so funny because now you're just like fast travel, but like. Back then, you're like the fact that the map was so damn big that you're actually walking, and there's a map that came with it, and you're actually walking that far and actually adventuring, and you come across things because the world was so big. It's funny you brought up Morrowind. Like even just remembering now, like how ridiculous. Like, because I mean,
it's funny that you brought up Age of Empire.
Yeah.
Because there are some names.
Yeah, there is
inspiration in Vikings versus Zombies.
Yeah,
from
we should probably bring that up. Yeah.
Like you know how all the villagers, like when you clicked on them, they would like call out something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, those things that they called out, those might be in the script.
Not might, they are.
Do you have a wololo?
Yeah.
So look forward to that Easter egg. Yeah.
Well, that's actually it's kind of like an inside joke that like Aaron and I have always had where we say like pluribus and stuff like that, and so there's actually like a city named Pluribus in Vikings versus Zombies. We have guys that go Rogan and like all those sounds they do. It's funny you brought that up because Age of Empires. We got a lot of little tidbits from Age of Empires.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
It's definitely a geek moment there.
Yeah.
I guess. Hey, I just got a text of my gay cat. Let me see the gay cat. Let me see if this works at all. So if I'm.
Oh yeah.
This isn't gonna work. This isn't.
Oh, there it
goes. See his gay pose. See that?
It's been confirmed.
He is a gay cat.
What'd you say, Cody? What'd you say?
I confirm that. I mean, I'm picturing him saying, "Paint me like one of your French girls." Like,
exactly.
that's what I'm picturing now with that cat. Yes, okay, now I see where the gay cat comes from. I guess one of the next questions is
I can ask if it's my question.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question about your guys' Indiegogo campaign, and I don't know if this is an inappropriate question, and if it is, you can completely refuse to respond. But I'm just curious, if you guys don't make all the money that you want to in the campaign, are you still going to make the movie, or are you going to wait until you make that much money to make the movie?
I say yes. Aaron probably doesn't, but I say yes. I think that if we don't, because that's the beauty of Indiegogo and why we went with it, is you get to keep what you make. They still take a percentage out of it, which every site does, because that's how they make their money. But I think if we at least come close, we're going to be able to very easily start what we want to start with that money. I think if we don't make that much, then or we don't even come close, I mean, it's obviously going to get saved, and we're obviously going to put that towards the film, and we're probably going to do some other means of fundraising. And another something that we've actually kind of teased the idea of is going out and like just grassrooting it, where it's like, and it comes from Sam Raimi, but the way they actually raised their money for Evil Dead was they would go out to dinner with Dennis and lawyers and people that had money and money to burn. And luckily, our economy is sort of turning around a little bit, where people would like to invest in a film. And so we've considered, taking the money from the Indiegogo if we don't, make our goal, and going and trying to, fund a grassroots campaign of trying to get the money that we need.
Okay.
So it's actually
I will
question,
also say, I will also say that worst case scenario. Again, this is I don't see this happening, but worst case scenario, should this ever happen, and things just don't move forward at all, like, we're absolutely gonna give those donations back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I had a question, and I know people would have a question on it, is if you don't make it, but you keep the money and you try and go through grassroots, are people who invested through the Indiegogo still going to get?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No. We will. I mean, yeah. If people donate, I mean, and again, yeah. If we use the money for the film, which will more than likely be the case, we're absolutely going to still give everybody everything that we've promised. So, which, by the way, actually, I should, because I have one right here in my bathroom.
Wait,
our signed posters. This is one of the signed posters that we are giving away as one of the rewards, and it's signed by Lloyd Kaufman and Debbie Rochon, who both are in the film. And Lloyd Kaufman and Debbie are both in a very large number of movies. But Lloyd is the creator of Trauma. And was the one that helped make Matt and Trey Parker, Matt Stone and Trey Parker famous by making Cannibal the Musical, or at least distributing it. And he also made The Toxic Avenger. He made Sergeant Kabuki. I mean, he made so many, glorious B-movie horror and comedy.
Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet, yeah. Debbie is in a lot of them, if not all. So.
How much do you have to donate for one of those?
I'd have to look it up. I probably should have done my research before showing the poster.
I'm pretty sure you get a poster at $50.
Yeah.
I don't think you get a signed poster until
no, you get it's actually 50, and you get a poster, and we have along with the poster, actually, I should also mention this. I think it's with the $50 donation, you get the poster, and you also get we have
your name in the credits.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Name in the credits is actually is the minimum donation. So you get, and that's how most campaigns work, is that if you do a high donation, you get everything underneath that too.
Yep.
So, but with the poster, you get, obviously, your name and credits, but we also have these stickers with the $50 donation that say Team Viking and Team Zombie on them.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so, I mean, you can put those, they're like bumper stickers, so you can put them wherever you want, really. But you get both. So, if you're on the team of both, you can use both stickers.
Well, now I'm definitely going to donate to that. Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And you get a DVD or Blu-ray at that price.
Yeah. That's
and a digital download.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's the great thing, is that if you get the DVD or you get the Blu-ray, you also get a digital download no matter what.
It's awesome.
So I guess with the best scenario, then, if you were to reach your goal of 60,000, when were you thinking timeline when the movie would be done?
Done or starting to shoot.
I guess you can answer either way.
I guess both.
Well, who knows what will happen with post? I'm not going to answer that at the moment. But if we reach our goal with the money, I would say we're definitely going to get things started. Spring of 2015.
Yeah, it's I would say if we meet our goal, it'll absolutely be shot. So we're going to start shooting in 2015. That's something we've discussed, and usually, especially with the schedule that we've been planning on, we've been working out with actors involved. The shooting of the film will only take a few months, but it's also if you bunch all the time together, it's only going to be in a couple of weeks. And that's also kind of the I don't know what you would call it, the luxury, I guess, of shooting on green screen is you don't have to, be building sets, and there's not a lot of pre-production except for really just getting the actors there and in wardrobe. So I don't think that's kind of the good thing about it is we'll be shooting it in 2015, and then post-production, obviously, on an all green screen movie is very heavy. So I think that would probably take another less than a year, maybe about like a half a year to complete. So I'd probably say it would probably be like a 2016, 2017 end game. But I think what Aaron and I have both pretty much accepted as far as taking on this kind of a task, and I think a lot of filmmakers, especially independent filmmakers, take this on. I mean, we both have day jobs, but this has become like our second day job. Not only promoting the film but also making it and everything. So it's a big commitment, but I mean it's something that we've taken seriously. Where it's like once this, hopefully if we meet goal, once it's done or once it's shot, we're going to be plugging away and getting it done and out there so people can enjoy it. So.
So then, I mean, once it's completed, obviously, we're not going to say when. Where would somebody obtain this movie? Would you guys have it on your website? Would you guys have it?
The digital download will be sent to everybody. Everybody that's donated will get a digital download sent to them. But also, that's only if they download to the or only if they donate to the digital download level. If they get the DVD or the Blu-ray, it would be on completion. It wouldn't be like released in theaters and then like a year later, because it's not really we're not that big of a movie. But it's going to be
if somebody were to not donate and then you guys produce the movie, if they wanted outside of donation, where could they purchase it?
Oh yeah, we're gonna have our website. It'll be on our website and Amazon, and with the distribution deal that we're working out right now, actually, which is a big reason why we're even making the movie, is because we have distribution, very minimal, but we're working on a few different distribution offers. It'll also hopefully be available on Netflix. So.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's really big. That's a big hope. If we get the distribution deal that we're hoping to get, that's what we'll have. But as far as a disc, in the days of the digital age, if people want the DVD or the Blu-ray, it'll be available on the web. So.
Yep.
Did anybody else have any other questions?
I just want to say that your guys' idea for your movie sounds awesome, and I'm definitely interested in it. And I look forward to seeing it when it comes out. And it sounds like it's going to be a blast.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely. Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. Well, thank you for you guys being excited about it and supporting us and even like considering talking to us. I mean, it's one of those things where we feel pretty honored and and blessed to even be recognized for and getting to talk about it. And I obviously rant and talk a lot, but
it's all good, man. It's all good. That's what
that's the best thing about it is you tell us everything that how you feel about it, and that's what we want. That's what we want to hear.
Less work for us, man.
Yeah. I got a question for you. What is the deal with the SpongeBob?
Oh, me? I'm at my buddy's house. He just has that as his old Halloween costume, from years ago. I don't know.
That's a costume?
That's a costume.
All right. Well, someone's got to put it on.
Put that on. Put it on.
Oh my God. Let me try. Want me to try?
Yes.
All right. So we gotta wait for this.
Yeah. There we go.
Perfect.
All right.
Finally,
So
you can use a sound effect.
So while we're waiting for Alex to put on the costume, did you guys have any questions for us? I mean, did you guys want to talk about anything about the movie?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess as far as I don't really want to ask you Vikings versus Zombies questions, but if if you want me to ask you questions, as far as murder beards and Vikings versus zombies, what attracted you guys to the film? I'm assuming the beards.
Well, I mean, the whole concept of Vikings. I mean, it's just like it kind of goes along the lines with murder beards. I mean, it's Vikings. Man.
Hold on here.
Oh. It's not on. You got to put it on.
He tried to put it on.
You got to put it on.
He tried to put it on.
I'll try again one more time.
All right. Well, anyways, well, I mean, with murder beards in general, I mean, it's the whole concept of Vikings. I mean, maybe not so much the zombie aspect, but the Vikings. I mean, we can honestly see. I mean, it's murder. It's the beard, the power of the beard.
It sounds like there could be a clan called the Murder Beards, and they were Vikings.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and now it's like
maybe you
murder
could put that in the
beards
script.
plus IT guys. Beards and IT unite.
You got your own mascot.
Yeah. I can safely say that
If he
murder
can't
beards can be plugged in the movie.
If he can't fit this, I would definitely not be able to.
What?
I think it is. I think that needs to be written in somehow subtly. You know, someone mentions like they're wearing their murder beard. I think that's doable.
Wait, he's almost got it. He's almost got it. Here, let me help you out there.
That looks like a struggle.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to explode.
You did it.
There you go.
Okay, yay, hey!
There we go. All right, now someone grab an axe and murder him.
Now we gotta get the axe and murder you from the Vikings.
Thank you, random person, for putting on the costume. And Greg pulled out a sword.
This is pretty much my buddy that does my YouTube videos with, pretty much.
Hi, person.
Hi, SpongeBob guy.
Call him awesome for the sad.
You are being stabbed.
You're being stabbed.
But I think that is it for tonight. Thank you, Greg and Aaron, for joining us on our podcast. Hopefully we can get this Indiegogo going up for you guys, and hopefully you guys can make this movie because it sounds fucking epic and awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everyone listening and watching, please just Google Vikings versus Zombies. You'll find us. Help make this happen for us.
Spread the word.
Thank you, Greg and Aaron. You know, I can't wait to donate myself and get myself one of those sexy hats.
Yes.
You guys need to make that an option.
Yes,
we will.
And then make it like a bra, and then make it like as like a freaking thong.
Are you donating your body? 'Cause that's what it sounded like.
No.
But yeah, that is it for tonight. Join us next week, Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, or whatever Greg or Jared said earlier. I don't remember the acronym anymore.
Eastern Daylight Time.
That's the one. Thank you for watching, and everybody have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Yeah, thank you.